What's going on, guys? The MercilessGhostie back again. The time has finally come for the usual movie review with Scream 5. I'm excited to finally be doing it. You guys know how I rate my movies, particularly I won't say all of my movies because I haven't gone too far off outside of horror yet. But my horror movies, it's number 1, Suspense, number 2, Kill Creativity, number 3, Writing, and number 4, Score. That being said, let's get into it. Starting right off the bat with the suspense, I gotta say this film did a really good job with it in some scenes. There isn't like a overall dread to the movie that like keeps building tension. There's some of that spoof still there, sprinkled in throughout, but the opening scene was done very well. I think it's pretty brutal and pretty tense. It's not the best in the franchise by any means, but I would put the opening scene comfortably at number 3. I really like the fact that they kind of switched it up and they made the first girl not die and they made her live and made her actually a crucial part of the story. I really like Jenna Ortega as Tara in this movie and Melissa Barrera as Sam, who plays her sister. But we'll get into that with the writing. There's a couple of nice other scenes throughout where Ghostface looks really cool. There's a couple of really effective jump scares, like when there's a scene that kind of reminds me of the opening of Scream 3 where the Deputy Judy from the last movie is she leaves home and she gets a call from Ghostface who says he's right outside her son's bathroom door and he's gonna kill him. So she turns around, she stops the car, go back home. She throws the sirens on, and she keeps speeding up. There's a real sense of urgency to get there. I really like how they did that. And then she gets there. She's about to run in the door. You know, you're expecting Ghostface to be in the house somewhere, but sure enough, he's not in the house. As soon as she gets to the front door, he comes out, boom, kills her right there, right in broad daylight. It was pretty effective in my opinion. I really enjoyed that. The third act is void of a lot of tension, I will say. But again, a lot of the third act stuff I'll leave to the writing. But there's a couple of really nice moments of suspense to this movie. So I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. Next up, we got Kill Creativity. And once again, Scream movie really lacks in that area. Everything is stab, stab, stab again. Pretty much in line with the first 4 movies. But it does get pretty violent at times. Like I said, the opening scene was pretty brutal. There's another, like I mentioned in the suspense too, like when he kills now Sheriff Judy Hicks, no longer Deputy Hicks, it's Sheriff Hicks in this one. After he kills her, he does go inside and kill her son as well. And the way he kills him is pretty sick. So he goes in, the kid's looking around, he's confused. A nice little moment of suspense there. And Ghostface eventually comes up and stabs him in the neck. And you can, like, you see it go in and you can see it, like, in there and, like, dangling there. It's pretty gross. I did get what I wanted. I'll go in that more in depth on the writing. They killed one of the OG members. They killed Dewey. I'm kind of mixed on his death. Not the fact that they killed him, but it's the fact that the reveal of who killed him that I kind of didn't sit well with me. But his death is pretty damn gruesome. He gets stabbed in the stomach, which is pretty usual, and then it gets pulled out like through his back. It's like it's sick. It's pretty bloody. They left no doubt that he's actually dead in this one. But other than that, the body count wasn't very high. It was probably the most brutal in the franchise outside of Scream 4, but not as brutal as Scream 4. But this is about creativity. So overall, I'm going to give the kill creativity a 4 out of 10. Next up, we got the writing. And once again, I'm kind of mixed on this. I really want to see the movie again to get a better feel for it. This is all top of my head, first time watch stuff. But I really like the fact that the legacy characters took a back seat. As much as I wanted them to die and everything, they really took a back seat in this movie. And I was happy with that, but I felt like they could have been woven into the story a little bit better. They could have been written in a little bit better. Except for Dewey. David Arquette gave his best damn performance of the entire franchise as Dewey in this movie, in my opinion. He's no longer the bumbling cop. He's helping the new generation out in this kind of showing them the rules, and I kind of like that. He takes a much more serious approach to this, in my opinion. Like I said, I don't think he feels like the bumbling cop as much. Yeah, I did like the sisters, Tara and Sam. There's a reveal in the beginning of the movie, fairly early into it, after Tara is attacked by Ghostface in the opening scene. Sam goes back to Woodsboro to see her sister, and as she's there, she keeps having flashbacks of Billy Loomis. For those who don't know, that was Sidney's boyfriend / the original killer in the first movie, and it's revealed that Sam, who's kind of the new quote-unquote final girl, is actually his daughter. Now, I don't really like when movies play around with the original lore and kind of change events from the first movie, but this movie didn't really do that. I kind of felt like it was woven in a clever way. You could talk me into the fact that Billy had a little fling side relationship with somebody and got somebody pregnant. You could talk me into that. I can suspend my disbelief to that point. I did like Jack Quaid in the movie, who kind of plays that Stu kind of, that Matthew Lillard Stu type of role. Everyone else is pretty much your stock. Most of the new cast is mostly your typical stock horror movie characters. You got your stereotype jock. You got the knockoff version of Randy, of course. Most of the new cast is pretty forgettable. Outside of the sisters, I really like the sisters. And the legacy characters could have been woven in a little bit better. But what I really do like what this film does is there's a couple of scenes of strong emotion that you don't typically get from a slasher movie. Like really hard-hitting emotion. Like when the sisters first reconnect at the beginning, there's a pretty emotional scene. But what steals the show is Gale and Dewey's two performances, really. So now they're separated, they've split up, and they see each other for the first time as the killings are happening. And they go up and they pretty much give you an exposition dump of how they split up and so on. And Dewey goes, yeah, Dewey's the one that actually left Gale in this movie, surprisingly. But Dewey goes, yeah, I just packed up I'm paraphrasing, I'm not going this line for line, but he says something like, yeah, I just packed up in the middle of the night and left like a coward. And basically, like, he struggles living with that. And Gale says, you may be a lot of things, Dewey, but you are no coward. And then there's a scene after he's dead, it's revealed that he's dead, where Gale goes to the school where he was killed, and Courtney Cox gives a really strong emotional scene. That's a lot of things you don't get from this movie, and really slasher movies in general, is strong scenes of emotion like that. And I really like the fact that they went for that. The third act is eh. The killer reveal is eh. I really didn't. Then their motives. Basically, there's a lot of anger online right now with the fact that they went after toxic fandom, which I mean, in my opinion, is that's pretty much what the other movies are about too. So the fact that people are mad about that and calling it woke are is pretty silly in my opinion. But the other movies had a little bit more weight to what they were to the motives. This one was literally just like some pissed off YouTubers getting back at the original cast for fucking up the Stab movies. I felt like they could have made it a little bit stronger in terms of the killer's motives. There are two killers, of course. One of them I had already mentioned. I'm not going to reveal the killers, who they are. Go watch the movie and see for yourself. It's pretty predictable. You'll figure if you have any above average IQ when it comes to horror movies, you'll be able to spot them within the first 15 minutes. It's fairly obvious, and that's another thing that I feel like the Scream movies did well. They did a better job at giving you red herrings and other possibilities of who it might be. Overall, I'm mixed on the writing. I really want to see the movie again. But as of right now, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, we got the score. And once again, not much happening here. There's a couple of nice haunting music and some scenes throughout, but nothing really stuck out to me as being like, whoa, this is like really adds to the scene in terms of like tension. But it was nice to hear some of the old school Scream music, like Dewey's theme from the second movie. And there's another part in the beginning when Ghostface gets his first kill, his first official kill, where it's kind of like, oh, okay, I remember that from the first movie. That's cool to hear. It tapped into the nostalgia a little bit there. Overall, I'll give the score a 6 out of 10. I'm being generous, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for the fact that I enjoyed hearing some of the old school Scream music in it. And overall, we got my final score. This was really hard to do. I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. I think I'm comfortable with that right now. That may very well change in the future after I see the movie a few times. I'm comfortable with that right now. But what did you guys think of Scream? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Is it your favorite in the franchise? Is it somewhere in the middle? Also follow me on social media at MercilessGhostie on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere where you can find me. Be down in the description below. Stay tuned for the Scream movie ranking coming out tomorrow. Or in the next couple days. It will probably be tomorrow. I'll see you guys again soon. Have a good day. Peace.